much screen time is healthy for a teen? That is the question we're all asking ourselves today. A lot of parents across the world is wondering the exact same thing. Is my kid addicted to their phone? The real question is my kid's phone interrupting her day-to-day or his day-to-day? The crazy thing is I don't think there's a universal answer. Every kid is different. Every kid has a different schedule. And let's be honest, every kid's home life is different. The American Academy of Pediatrics, AAP, recommends that parents with teenagers to limit all media, and that includes TV, not just phones, not just iPads, not just computers. It's recommended, first of all, that we research computer games. What does your teen get access to? Preview games, and even play them yourself to see what they are prior to letting them get access. One of the big ones that I think that I can understand is make sure teens have a variety of free time activities. I think it's important when they go to their activity, do they hand over the phone? Do they do that willingly, or do you struggle getting it? Turn off screens during family time, during meals, those important times that you need to have a conversation. Does your child engage? I think all of that will help you decide how much screen time your child should be having. It's a privilege. It's something they should earn. It's another suggestion they have. Coming from personal experience, it usually is the number one thing that's probably taken away in consequences. Not always should we focus on the screen time, but more of what is the screen time being used for. There is positives to screen time, but we'll get to that a little bit later. And teach your team about internet safety. It's important for them to understand what they download, what they post, what they're doing on their phones is always gonna probably repeat itself. I think the statement, it does interfere with normal habits, like conversations, spending, again, that family time, or are your grades suffering? Is your teen able to maintain their grades? It's always an indicator that screen time might be being pushed. Right now, reports show that the average teen is spending 7 hours a day on their screen. Now, this includes school, and this does include computers, TV, everything. I personally can say that my 13-year-old doesn't watch TV. So pretty much, that's her phone. Think about it. Is there a difference staring at a Saturday cartoon or watching a TikTok on your phone? A professor, Matt, writes at least a lot of times something constructive is going on when they are on their phones versus watching TV. So the argument is, back in the day when, let's say I was a teenager, I sat and watched a lot of TV. Probably about equivalent to what my child does in screen time. Is there a difference? Let's see what they say. A study conducted in Florida found 6 hours of screen time actually did not have a negative impact on teens. It was beyond the 6 hours that seemed. The real concern is social media. The media that has the real attention on the negative effects for screen time. How do you control it? How do you know what everything your child has access to? How do you know what apps they're on? How do you know what's being said to them behind the scenes? Snapchat, all of those apps that are out there. It's safe to say that you just need to have hard conversations with your teen. And limiting the screen time, it is important. I think you do have to have continued conversations. So eventually they understand that it's important for them to also understand why it's important to limit, to be able to shut down the world, to relax and be still. Back to the study in Florida, Ferguson and his team examined data on more than 6,000 Florida teens. The average age was actually 16 at the time. 2013, the Youth Risk Behavior Survey, a national yearly survey, monitors adolescent behavior. They looked on the amount of screen time the teens got compared to the amount of risky behaviors they participated in. The researchers also considered the factors that they have a positive effect on teens, including physical activity, sleep, family involvement, and according to study. So again, we're back to the same thing. The real problem is making sure your teen is not on their screen time versus doing something like sleeping or getting rest, playing outdoors with their friends if they're outside, or going out for an activity instead of just saying, nah, I'll pass, and sitting on their phone. I think there's the fine line. And remember, every kid is different. Judge by what your kid's doing. What behaviors are they showing? And you'll be just fine. But I do believe that all media should be limited. Thank you.